This is the Tetragrammaton, the four-letter name of God that is found over 6,500 times in the Hebrew Bible. And as many of you are aware, the pronunciation of this name has been debated for many years. This is the letter Yud, which is universally accepted as having a Y sound. These are the letter He, which are also universally accepted as having an H sound. This is the letter Vav, which can serve as a consonant or a vowel. As a consonant, some like myself believe this letter originally had a W sound. But others, such as Nehemiah Gordon, believes that it originally had a V sound. As a vowel, it can have an O or U sound. Now, I'm not going to go into the debate here about the V or W sound. So for the purposes of this video, we are going to use the V sound, because that is what is used in the pronunciation Yehovah. Now, before I go any further, I would like to reiterate my opinions on the pronunciation of the name. When the Bible speaks about teaching the name to the people and taking the name to the nations, I do not believe that this is speaking about its pronunciation. The Hebrew word for name is Shem, which does mean name, but it also means character. And I believe that when it comes to the name of God, the emphasis should be on teaching the character of God, not its pronunciation. But with that said, trying to determine the pronunciation of the name is still an important issue, but it should not take priority over studying the character of God. In the Dead Sea Scrolls, the oldest biblical text that we have in existence, the name is written with just 4 letters. When the Masoretes invented the Nikodot, a system of dots and dashes to represent vowel sounds, we find that the name was written with different vowels, providing different pronunciations for the name. Here are a few of the more common ones. In Genesis 2 verse 4, the name is written with these vowels and is one of the more common forms of this name in the Masoretic text. But without going into any details here, these vowels do not follow the standard rules for vowels, making a pronunciation difficult. But it could be transliterated as Yevah. In Ezekiel 7 verse 3, the name is written with these vowels. But again, they do not follow the standard rules for vowels, but could be transliterated as Yevi. Another form of this name is found in Genesis 3:14, where it is written with these vowels, which provide the pronunciation Yehovah. This vowel pointing provides the vowel, this one the vowel, and this dot, which is called the cholam, represents the O sound. In the Dead Sea Scrolls, which were written long before the invention of these vowel pointings, Hebrew words are often spelled differently than they are in the Masoretic text. Let's use the word Elohim as an example. Here is how this word appears in the Masoretic text. This dot is the cholam, where we get the O vowel in Elohim, and is no different from the cholam that we find in Yehovah. In the Dead Sea Scrolls, we sometimes see this word written the same as the Masoretic text, but without the vowel pointings, of course, such as this word that we find in Genesis 1 verse 5. However, in many of the Dead Sea Scrolls, we find the word Elohim written in this way, such as we see in this scroll from Psalms 138. The letter Vav appears in this word and represents the O vowel. But when the Masoretic text was written, the Vav was dropped and replaced with the cholam, the dot. We see the same dropping of the Vav from ancient texts and being replaced with the cholam in many words. Here is the word Jacob, Yaakov, as it appears in the Masoretic Hebrew text. Note the red dot which is the cholam representing the O sound. But in the Dead Sea Scrolls, this name is written in this way, with the letter Vav to represent the O sound. Here on the left is the Hebrew word kol, which means all, from the Masoretic Hebrew text. And here it is from the Dead Sea Scrolls. And here is the word lo, which means no, from the Masoretic Hebrew text. And here it is from the Dead Sea Scrolls. Let's take another look at the name Yahweh as it appears in the Masoretic text, where it is pronounced Yehovah. If words written with the cholam in the Masoretic text are frequently written with the Vav instead in the Dead Sea Scrolls, then we should expect to see this name written in this way in the Dead Sea Scrolls. The first Vav represents the O sound and the second Vav represents the V sound. But nowhere in any of the Dead Sea Scrolls do we find this spelling for the name. So where did the O vowel come from in Yehovah? It is not there. When I presented this evidence to Nehemiah Gordon, he pointed out that this is an interesting suggestion. And then he showed me 3 Hebrew words in the Masoretic text that have the cholam vav, just like in the name Yehovah. But in the Dead Sea Scrolls, they are not written with a double vav. The first example he provided is the word ka-loveh, which can be found in Isaiah 24, verse 2. But in the Dead Sea Scrolls, this word is written with only one vav. The second is the word kovai from Isaiah 49:23. But in the Dead Sea Scrolls, this word is written with only one vav. The third word is the word kovecha from Psalms 69, verse 7. But again, in the Dead Sea Scrolls, this is written with only one vav. But are we sure that the Masoretic pronunciation with the cholam was indeed pronounced the same way in the time of the Dead Sea Scrolls? Was this word originally pronounced kovecha, or was it originally kavecha without the O vowel? Just as is the case with many of the mysteries of the pronunciation of the name Yod-Heh-Vav-Heh and many other Hebrew words, it comes down to interpretation of evidence. And only when we find Moses' tape recorder will all of these questions be answered.